Hey guys, and welcome to BH Live. This is a podcast purely designed at interviewing some of the most amazing artists, creatives, entrepreneurs and influencers here in Dubai. I actually meant to say influencers then. My name is Brendon Hansford and I'm a director and choreographer, now based here in Dubai and apparently now a presenter. And I'm joined here today by the amazing Danny. Hi, Danny.
Hi, guys.
Danny, tell us all about yourself, what you do, what you're doing here.
My name's Danny Lee. I am a creative director, choreographer, entrepreneur, fashion designer, host, MC. What else? What else? It's probably best to say what I don't do.
Go for it. What don't you do?
Depends how much you pay me. I'm a multitasker, let's say.
Multifaceted.
Multifaceted.
That's what we go with these days. So you've been here a while, right?
Yeah, 10 years this year. 10 years in October, end of October. So yeah.
What should I look out for? Because I've been here 2 months.
The time flies. It goes really quickly. Beware of the summers. Like, plan your summers.
Yeah, I keep hearing this.
Yeah, it's make sure you can get out for at least 3 weeks or a little bit during the summer, because it gets intense. The summers are intense. No, I can't say there's nothing really to look out for. Just enjoy it. And, Dubai's an amazing place, so there's nothing really to look out for. Just beware of the summer.
Beware of the summer. And what would you say you do? This is a hard question because I always get asked it, like, what do you do on a daily basis? But because of what we do, it changes every day. So I'm going to ask you on a weekly basis.
On a weekly,
what would you say your job role entails?
Should we say
across everything?
Prior COVID or?
Yeah, let's go before COVID.
Let's pretend,
because we're going to get to that conversation later.
Okay, so let's pretend COVID doesn't exist. Even it's even not saying that with COVID, I'm all over the place. My week would normally be meetings, proposals, rehearsals, into my warehouse to sort out costumes, going to see designers for costume designs, I'm launching my own brand, so my own fashion brand, so I'm spending a lot of time with my designers. So I'd always be with my designers. At the minute, it's a lot of meetings.
Okay.
A lot of meetings and a lot of pitch work and a lot of working from home. I'm loving working from home, actually.
Oh, that's good.
Because
I don't choice for a while.
I don't work from home. I normally go somewhere nice, and work from outside. So yeah, I'm quite lucky in that respect. But yeah, that's a general week in my crazy life. And then if it was pre-COVID, I'm MC and host at Billionaire.
Oh, nice.
So I would be.
I've heard about it, never been. So you're gonna have to invite me.
As soon as it's open again, I'll invite you. It's really great. They just did a whole revamp. They brought a whole new cast in, a whole new team of dancers.
Incredible.
Made this amazing show. So I'm blessed to be a part of it. So I actually can't wait to get back.
Right.
Soon. Perform. It's like my first job performing, and I don't know, in like 7 years. No so way. It was like, yeah, they just she loved it. Do you want to be an MC and host? And I was like, yeah. Well, no, I've done bits and bobs, but this is like the first contract that I've had.
How did you find it on because I stopped performing a fair few years ago and became choreographer director like full time. I've done a few, but how did you find it the first time you got to perform again? Because I know for me, I was scared. That's a polite way of saying it.
So the first time I stopped at 27 performing. I was like, I don't want to perform anymore. I want to focus on choreography, direction, and content creation. So the very first time I performed again was at the closing of New York Fashion Week.
Wow.
So I do creative direction for the after parties.
Nice.
But this year, 2019.
Horrible job.
No, it was amazing. It was so good. They were like, Danny, we want you to perform because, we want you to close it. We've got a gap between, there's a gap between this, and, you'll be opening for Justin Bieber. And I was like,
of course.
I was like, what? So the very first time I was performing again, it was at like New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
And
so
opening for
not high profile then, really small stuff.
So it was just so like, it's like, okay, right. But then as soon as I got on stage, it was amazing.
Came flooding back.
Yeah, it was.
You remember why you loved it again?
Yeah.
Oh, it's nothing like that feeling, is there?
Yeah, it was great.
And what would you say are, I know you've got a long career, so this, you might have to think about this, but what are your top 3 highlights in your career so far?
Top 3 highlights. Top 3 is too precise. Like I can't really go like, oh yeah, this was amazing and this was amazing. New York Fashion Week was one of them. And I don't normally like, I have moments, not like, oh, you know, I performed with Cheryl Cole, or like just,
it doesn't have to be an name.
Do you know what I mean? Like
just something that means
the first time, a highlight for me was the first time that when I did my very first job as a creative director, and you know, putting a team together of choreographers, dancers, you know, stage, like building a stage, designing a stage. I had a team of graphic designers, content creators. And the very first time that I went into the rehearsal and the stage was built and we were doing lights and like, it was all my creative. And I was like, this is crazy. This is awesome. And it was like, it was in Rome and it was like it was called the Palazzo Garza. And we did this whole like pop-up burlesque cabaret in this dead space, but we designed the stage, we designed like the concept of, for these VVIPs, like it was all these.
What's a VVIP?
Or like Italian politicians.
Very, very important person.
You know, like politicians and all of this. So yeah, and then once I walked into that space and I saw like my stage and this, that was like, I was like, I felt like I was on the right path. Yeah. And then like every time that kind of happens, like I just did a thing in Saudi last year where, you know, I again created 4 shows, and you've got to bear in mind that Saudi had so many restrictions, so many, like they couldn't have dancers, you can't have female, you can't do this. And I was the very first, me and an agency called White Rabbit, we collaborated and we created these shows where it was the first time females had ever danced on a stage in Saudi Arabia. Like, how did that go down? With males, like it was crazy. It went down amazing. Like they loved it. Like it was in the press and everyone, like there was no like negative. You'd think brilliant. Like you thought you were pushing the envelope, you know, like oh, there's girls dancing and it was very taboo, but no, they really embraced it, and that was a really proud moment. So I was like, amazing. Like we were the first people to do that in Saudi, and now Saudi is opening its gates.
I was about to say, do you feel like it's been a long time coming?
Yeah, and now it's like okay, now stuff's happening in Saudi, and like we were like at the forefront of it, and we started it, and I feel like it's kind of like rippling now, and like there's a lot of stuff happening in Saudi now. So
I noticed there's a lot of work coming up there. So I was just like, oh well, cool, great. Because like you, I had this mindset that everything was very restricted there, so. You know,
it still is. It's still very restrictive. Like I literally had to do a Excel of movement. So in terms of like at 1 minute 42, the 3 female dancers will move stage right and have left arm in the air and move it across. I had to do a description of each number. Yeah, they could never like touch each other, or you know, they couldn't touch themselves. Wow. So in the choreography, I couldn't have them like touch themselves.
No contact there.
No contact at all. So it was like it had its challenges, but then when it all came together, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Incredible. So why Dubai? Of all the places in the world you can go to, what is it that attracted you here and made you stay for 10 years?
So my best friend lived here, Dan Bolton. Yeah. You know Dan.
I know Dan.
He moved out 12, 13 years ago, and he left. He was like, I'm moving to Dubai, and I was like, wow, good luck. I was like, I'm staying in England. So he left and came here, and then I just had enough, and I was like, you know what, I want to change. And then Dan was like, you know, I have, the F1 was coming up with Dan was like, I've got the F1 gig coming up. Do you want to come and dance and see how you like it? And I was like, yeah, sweet. They flew me out. And then that was it. Then the agency signed me as their exclusive choreographer. And then it was so nice because back then there was like 2 other people who did choreography or did thingy. So when I came, it was like a breath of fresh air, I guess. And then, you know, now that it's crazy to see now because like there's so many people here now, and like there's so many dance schools and this and everything. But back then there was nothing. So I ended up staying and being like, you know what, I could really do something.
You could actually change something.
And you know what, like to be fair to Dan and all that, like the OGs like Dan, Scott Marshall, and me, we did like shaped the industry, because when
Nice.
I first moved here, you couldn't do anything. And we would always push the envelope. Scott Marshall always pushes the envelope. Like Dan is constantly pushing the envelope, and with my support, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see that is changing the industry here. Sorry, I just went on a.
No, that's what it's here for. It kind of leads really nicely onto the next subject is, where do you see yourself in the next 6 months to the next 5 years? Do you have any goals you want to achieve, whether it be personally
Cruise
or
ship?
for Dubai?
Cruise ship, some kind of big drink with an umbrella in it.
As I say, do you want to own it?
Professionally, I'm really trying to inject life back into the industry. Like I'm, working with people, working with Expo, working with people like Dan, and coming up with ways to how we can safely bring back life into the industry here. And I think it's down to people like Dan. I keep saying Dan, Dan, if you watch him, big shout out. I keep mentioning
Dan
your name. But it's for people like Dan and me, and we have to take ownership, because when dancers and stuff come here, I'm here for 6 months, I don't really care. We're not invested. We're invested into the industry, and we want the industry to come back to life and flourish. So the next 6 months is how do we do that? That's my plan. How do I? What role do I play in trying to bring?
And what role do you think you play? Obviously, we won't take this as gospel.
I don't know.
I'm trying to figure it out now.
My life's so hard. I don't know.
I'm assuming a challenge.
It's a challenge. It is a challenge. It's when I came back, we did one of the first events on the Point, and before we even got into rehearsals, I had to do this massive presentation to DCTM on how we can do rehearsals safely. Stickers on the floor, masks, dancers will get PCR tests before they even come to rehearsals, before we even book them. There's all of this stuff that so right now, I feel like that's where I've gone back to that now, where we have to put these systems and stuff in place to go to the higher power. Look, we can do it safely. Please let us work.
Please
let us work. So that's where I'm kind of at for the next 6 months, I guess.
It's nuts, isn't it? Well, I suppose in a way we're lucky, because obviously we're in Dubai and everything is, not everything, but a lot of things are open. We're able to travel, we're able to do what we want here, which is great. But I think people forget that the industry we work in is nothing's happening. It's only a small amount of stuff. Obviously I'm lucky enough to be a director as well, so I'm still getting work as a director, which is great, because the video stuff's still happening. But the main earnings, from what I understand, is just from speaking to people, is events and live entertainment here. And right now we've got to wait, how long now? After Ramadan, right?
Well, they're saying after Ramadan, but you have
no idea what's going to happen.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's going to happen. So, I've got projects that I need to deliver after Ramadan, and everything seems to be going all steam ahead for after Ramadan. Yeah. So, this is what I got jaded last year about this. So I'm kind of I have my reservations.
Just wait.
So I'm
just wait.
Yeah, great. That's all great. These are great ideas. Yeah. Let's and we're still working on them. I'm still getting it done. Yeah. But yeah, you just don't know. You just don't know.
I couldn't agree more. One of the reasons I'm here is because obviously throughout the lockdown in the UK, I got motivated. Great. I built these amazing projects. I've got 20 treatments of stuff I was supposed to create. And then the third lockdown happened, and I was just I'm out, I'm done, what's open? Yeah. And then I was cool, Dubai's open. And one of my aims was to go traveling and find a place to move to other than the UK, because I was kind of done with it. So I came to Dubai because it's the only place open. I'm not going to lie, in a week, I was just I'm staying. And the visa process started.
Dubai is legit one of the most beautiful places you'll ever go. And it is one of the most open places where you can actually come. And it's so weird, it's such a taboo, because it's so safe and you can come and you can be yourself. Where even sometimes in London or the UK, I'd still be a bit
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I get it.
But here, no one really cares.
Judgment.
There's no judgment. No one cares. As much as in the media, media do try and say, oh, it's like this, it's like this. Yeah. It's not like that at all. So Dubai is if you come, and the first week that you're here, it's wow, it's not what I expected.
Nothing like you read online, look at all the vlogs. I did that before I came. I tried to read as much as possible because in my head I was like, I don't want to go there and make silly mistakes and get in trouble, which is what everyone thinks. But you're right. It's just common sense. Like if you got common sense, you'll be good. Like be respectful.
Be respectful.
Yeah, there you go.
Be respectful.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Just have respect.
Don't be an idiot.
And know that this is not your country.
Yeah.
We can get kicked out at any time.
Yeah.
So have that respect.
Yeah. And that's the thing, if you play the
be
game
fine.
and you keep respect, then Dubai
fine.
rewards you. And I found that in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
So you've been here 10 years, so you're laughing.
You'll be fine.
Loving it.
You're gonna love it.
Oh, I already love it, don't worry. Love my new place. I love being here. So let's get a little bit more personal about you. What would you say in your life was the hardest moment? And it can be personal, it can be career, it can be whatever you want. And then how did you overcome it?
Obviously, like we're gonna circle back around to COVID.
Of course.
COVID was a real struggle.
Yeah.
I'm one of the most optimistic, positive people always, but like it really, like last March when all my, like literally my projects for a year, in a week all got cancelled. Like boom, boom, gone. And then all of a sudden I've gone from, living in a penthouse on the Palm to packing my bags and going, I've got to go home.
Yeah.
So that time in England at home, and it was that
so you came home?
I came home, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, mate. It was like everything stopped. Like, whoa. Stopped. And I survived till July. So I was like, had savings and stuff like that. And I was like,
okay, cool. Yeah.
Great. And I was like, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. Because all my clients were like, April. I was like, great.
Nice.
And they're like, it's been pushed back till July. I was like, great. And then I was like, nah, we're not doing it. And I was like, and that was like, I had like
familiar story.
20 projects.
Yeah.
Lined up, and I always plan my year.
Yeah,
I've always done that in my whole, like I plan my 6 months ahead.
Yeah,
and to not have that, and then to be like,
that weird,
go back home in my mum's house. You don't know when it's gonna come back.
No.
So you're like, okay, is this forever now? Is this
what's the deal? Yeah.
But in that despair moment where I was stuck in England, I thought like, this is my life now. I created, because I wanted to stay creative, I wanted to keep my brain active. So I created my brand.
Nice.
And it was just ideas, and I was like, that'd be cool. And then when you're like, oh well, I know that design, let me just speak to that person while I'm not doing anything. Oh, let me do this, and then let me just do this. And then when I came back, I was like, right, let's do this actually. Like it's there all on paper, like let's just do it. Like I've said I want to do it for years, and I'm going to do it. And that's the only good thing that came out of that horrible time. But that was a huge challenge. Yeah. Just like having to take a journey and reflect on yourself, like have a hard look in the mirror. Sometimes that
horrible.
That's like, oh,
right there.
Do I have to really look in that mirror?
Do you know, you touched on something really nice there, because I've said this for a long time, is throughout the lockdown, like obviously the third one was hard for me. That's why I got out and I've come here. Mental health reasons, whatever you want to call it. But the first one was very much like, when do you ever in the whole history of your life get that much time to work on stuff without any pressure? Because no one's working. No one's doing nothing. So you can literally work on anything you want. You started a clothing label. Yeah. That's big, that's huge. In lockdown, I started a whole talent agency, which is now running in the UK, and I have staff and they run it for me. P.S. My staff are amazing, so if you're watching, I love you. And I wouldn't have happened if I was still hustling, trying to get work. Like you, I was in Thailand getting tattoos, came back because of COVID, and email. I only went to Thailand because I knew I had so much work lined up. I was ready to earn more money in like 3 months than I had done in 3 years. And I was like, yes, I'm ready. And so I went and spent way too much money in Thailand, and then came back to email. All jobs gone. But it'll be all right. We'll talk about it in 2 months when all this clears up, right? So
and
I feel your pain.
And then you're like trying to be like, obviously you, like you said, you've got your team, and you're doing your thing in England, and you have people who dependent on you and like looking up to you. And the same with me, like here, like when stuff goes down here, like the entertainers and the dancers literally all turned to me and was like,
what's going on?
And then I was like, I've got to be like super positive and like really I want to like punch myself in the face. And I'm like, don't worry guys, don't worry, the industry's fine, don't panic. And I had like people calling me crying and like sending me voice notes on Instagram, like, is this it? Like, what do we do? And I was like, everything could be fine, guys. And when I'm inside and I'm like,
everything happens for a reason.
I'm like, don't worry. It was It was awful.
Now, I'm glad you said that because I don't think, like, I know I was in England, the entertainment industry's been hit hard. Like, I haven't quite grasped how bad it's been hit here because I've come at a good time where it's all starting to kind of ease back in.
No, the golden days have gone.
This is the thing, but I don't think people who are outside the entertainment industry realize how damaging it is to people inside, financially, mentally, all these different things. So it's really nice that you kind of touched on that. So nicely on to the next question is what would you say has been your biggest attribute that's helped you get where you are to your level, and why is it so important?
I have a great support network. Support network is like my support network. If it wasn't for them, I would have gone crazy. And I don't mean friends, I mean professionally. Like, that's what's really like, there's been really low times where I've really needed people or assistance, and then, they're there to help you. Again, same what I'm like, I'm same with them, but like especially in Dubai, you should have a great support network, and that's what got me through. And drive, like just like being like seeing different opportunities and drive, which again what Dubai is amazing for, because it is small, but you do get to see like what's happening and what's going on, and it's not overwhelming like it is in London or New York. It's like, okay, I want to get involved.
You know where to start.
You can. So
Well, it's funny because when people ask me from home, like, what's it like out there, and I say they're nice in the nicest possible way. Is everyone is willing to help, because most people here are an expat. So they get what it's like to be here for the first time and get that you need a little bit of help. And like you said, a lot of it's temporary. People come and go. So they're more than happy to help. And this is what one of the reasons I stayed is a good example is I'd send 100 emails in the UK. I might get a couple of replies. I send 100 emails here, I'd probably have about 80 replies. Of saying, let's have a coffee, let's have a meeting. My first month here, I haven't seen anything touristy yet, because I was literally meeting back to back, creating something, doing this, doing that. And okay, they don't all come up to fruition, but the fact that people are willing to help, and that's what I've noticed here more than anywhere else. And they speak English, which helps. Can you imagine if I went to Asia? Okay, I'm stuck. I need a translator. But so what advice would you give to someone in Dubai, in England, anywhere in the world that's looking to break into this industry? Maybe as a dancer or as a choreographer?
I would always say to starting out, like I should say, says the guy who's got a million lanes. But when you're starting out, pick a lane. Like, don't be like, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and I want to do that. I think when you're starting out, you really need to home in on something. Because it's got like a lot of people, especially young people now, like, well, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and I want to do this, and like you're just gonna you need to focus in on one thing. Like, if you want to be a choreographer, if you've gone right, okay, I'm done with dancing, I want to start choreographing, then focus on being a choreographer.
Get laser
focus on being a dancer, and you want to start your own classes and you want to do this. And especially in Dubai, because things hype here quickly and then fall quickly. Like, you should invest time, resources into building the foundation, and then okay, I've got a solid foundation of being this. I want to do this now.
I can now branch out.
I want to branch out to do this.
Well, look at all the famous singers who now are movie stars. They were famous as a singer first, and that's what they focused on, and that allowed them to, pass on. And it's really funny because you said something very similar to Gulnora said last week. So it seems to be a thing with entrepreneurs, is get laser focused on the one thing you did. And the analogy I gave last week was, if you had a tank of fuel and you spread it into 8 different cars, they would all go a short distance. But if you put it into one car, it would go a lot further. And if you think of your career like that, put all your gasoline, whatever, petrol, whatever country we're talking to right now, into one place and smash it.
That's nice.
And then you can afford to buy another tank.
And
that's the best way. Keep going forward. So I always ask the guests, and you filled out a form for me, to give me 3 topics you want to talk about. And the first one we've kind of touched on, but I'm just going to say it again in case there's more you want to elaborate on.
Okay, I can't remember what I said.
How COVID has affected the entertainment industry.
Oh, we just talked about it. I don't want to talk about it no more.
No, that's fine. I'm happy to be straight.
It was so bad. I don't even know why I even said.
Short version is it was really rubbish.
Not the best.
We can't swear, but it's rubbish.
It's not the best.
It's not been great.
It's not been ideal.
But, for a positive swing, imagine the bang that's going to come back with.
Yeah.
No one's had entertainment stuff for a long time, so everyone's gonna want it. And hopefully they're gonna want to spend money on it, but I get a horrible feeling that it might.
Don't speak. That's not like. I don't want to be like. I don't want to be like. Oh well, I think it's like this, but you know, with your sugar comes your medicine. So it's going to be like, oh yeah, oh you know, the industries came back. However, you know, payment terms will probably be crazy, and this and this. There will be.
You think it's going to be more restrictions?
I think it's not going to be all like singing and dancing and like things back to normal. I think we've got a long way off. I think the industry has shifted, and now even, you know, clients are a lot more aware of spending money now. They don't want to spend money, and they know what they want, instead of wasting all of these times and resources where like, oh, we've got the money to now, let's do this. So now it's going to be I think it's going to tighten up the industry a little bit, which will be great because it'll get rid of all like the
be careful.
It'll get rid of all like the, you know, people aren't doing it properly, or you know, just winging it.
Let's just say the unprofessional ones.
The quality, it'll make the quality of the industry better. That's
perfect. So
without
come at a good time. And the second subject you said was dancers taking the initiative to start their own classes to keep the industry moving.
Yes.
So what do you mean by that?
A lot of dancers, like especially with Dubai, a lot of dancers come here, and well, not just dancers, I'm not going to just say dancers, like performers come here. Creatives, they come here, they think they know everything, and you know, they think, you know, they're at the top of their game and they don't have to train anymore. And you asked me a question before and you're like, why don't you teach anymore? And I was like, because everyone's a bit wishy-washy, and you know, they'll go to this class and then they won't come, and then it'll be like, but what's happened now, which is really cool to see, like, you know, dancers have got nothing else to do, or performers got nothing else to do, so they're training, which is so nice when you're looking on their Instagrams and stuff like that. Like, yes, you're going to a class, and they're like, oh, I'm going to try this person's class because I've never done this style. I'm like, this is what the industry needs. This is what you should be doing all the time. But like a lot of dancers don't do that. So that's what I mean, like, and taking the initiative to be like, you know what, I can do this. I've got this skill. I want to teach people how to do it. And then they get their network involved, and everyone's kind of training all the time, bettering themselves and growing as performers and dancers and injecting, you know, even if it's injecting life into the industry, where before all of this happened, dancers were very just much like, I want to work. And if I'm not working, I'm not going to train. I want to be on a beach somewhere if I'm not training. Do you know what I mean? Where, you know, there's the hustle mentality of London and New York and like LA didn't exist.
But does.
But now it's like, okay, we've got to hustle, and it's so good to watch.
Hungry.
Like when you're watching it on Instagram, yes, like this is what we need. Yes, like stir in the pot.
Yes, I have classes on Tuesday and Saturday, just in case you're listening. And if Danny opens classes, we'll post about it. So keep an eye on that. Okay, light at the end of the tunnel. How we can kickstart the industry moving forward. You kind of touched on this earlier.
We kind of just talked about this, you know, offer something, you know, do your class, support the industry, you know. You've just got to hang in there. All performers or dancers and stuff who are watching, and, you know, creatives. We have to hang in, and you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You know, stuff is happening. It's not an easy journey. It's not just gonna open up, like we said before. It's not just gonna open up and it's all gonna be like, it's a small world after all. Like it's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be a hard grime hustle. And me, I like that. Like that's I'm all about that. So but it's not gonna be. It's there is light, but it's a very far away.
If you had to pick one thing that needs to change, what would it be?
In Dubai industry,
it's just Dubai. We'll just talk about Dubai now. We'll tackle the world later.
Next week. What has to change? I feel like it is kind of changing. My biggest issue is, you know, people thinking they know. when they're not willing to learn or open up, which is kind of what we touched upon with the dancers, and you know, them not being so bougie, and like they are taking all different classes. You know, like Dubai dancers, they wear bougie and they'd be like, oh well, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that, and I'm not going to take that class because I know. But that's all changing now, so that's what I felt had to change. But now they're, you know, they're training hard. They're taking other people's classes. They know how to work with other people, and it's not so cliquey anymore. So
that's good.
I think it's opening up and the industry's growing is the change that needed to happen.
Sick. All right, it does make sense. I've got 3 stupid questions for you, just for a bit of fun. Is who would play you in the movie of your life?
Oh, I don't know his name, but it would be him.
Great, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Really helpful over a podcast.
The guy who played Freddie Mercury.
Oh God.
The guy who played Freddie Mercury.
Do you know? Malik.
Him.
So you can be in the podcast
Remy
too.
Malik.
If you're not sure who we're looking at, there's a cameraman behind. It's funny because when I got first asked this question on a podcast with the same company I'm doing right now, I said Jason Momoa. Is it Jason Momoa? Aquaman. That's the same guy, right?
Yeah.
He looks nothing like me, but I would just love to look like him because he is an extremely attractive man.
If that's the case, then I would love Jared Leto.
We have Emily outside the booth, nodding her head, giggling away. P.S. guys, if you are watching this, you can come down and have a drink and chill and watch this live every week, 6 o'clock on a Thursday. Probably should have said that in the intro.
Yeah, you should have.
I think I skipped that line. But okay, your next one is, if you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
Be invisible.
So much on in my head then that I can't say
why.
on a podcast.
No, because if you could be invisible, you could just go anywhere. You could do anything.
No, everyone sees
you could actually just be sat anywhere you want. You could go anywhere in the world you want because you could be invisible on a plane.
True.
You could just be invisible.
Just try not to bump into anyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, be visible and then be able to
turn it on and off.
On and off. Yeah, not
invisible.
constantly invisible. No.
As a performer, that might be quite hard. But then wouldn't you have to be naked the whole time? You're okay with that?
So be it.
Okay, I'm going to skip the next question in my head. Last one, work hard or play hard? If you had to pick one.
Work hard.
Good. I like that. Now, finishing up, is there any inspiring message, any mantra you have that you would like to share with the audience?
It'll all be over soon, guys.
That's your mantra. Brilliant. Okay, so last thing, tell everyone how they can get hold of you, how they can contact you, how they can follow you.
You can check out my Instagram, which is officially Danny Lee, officially _ Danny Lee. Or you can just type in Danny Lee into Instagram and it will show up. Check out my website, which is www.dlcreative.me, and you can also check out my fashion label if you would like to order some amazing clothes, which again is Yoso Collective on Instagram. Okay. Website launching soon. Good. The website is under construction.
Yeah, it's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's like COVID. All right, well, dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. It was amazing.
I had a great time talking to you.
With everything.
Some really insightful stuff there.
It's really cool setup you've got here.
Thank you. I didn't set it up, but I'm going to take all the credit for it. All right, guys. So thank you so much for watching the podcast or listening to the podcast. Guys, keep following BH Live. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, IGTV. Basically anywhere I can chuck it, I will chuck it. And we have new guests every single week. So keep an eye on my Instagram to check out who's coming. See you later, guys.